So, welcome to the second episode of Riga Business School podcast. And here we are today in the Bottom Line studio. And my name is Elīna Valdmane. I'm alumnus of professional MBA of Riga Business School. And today I'm very happy to introduce to you Girts Bramans, also a professional alumnus and head of strategic stakeholders of Rail Baltica project.
Hi, good to be here.
So, the title of our today's episode is very serious. The importance of stakeholder management in Rail Baltica project. But I hope that apart from this serious topic, today we will get to know Girts more as a personality and also get some valuable insights and maybe inspiration.
Good.
Okay, so what I want to do, I want to start with a couple of lines from your colleagues, what they have to say about you. And why I actually want to start with those lines is because these lines also very much resonate to me, and this was also how I saw you during our way together in RBS studies. And these lines are, everybody knows that Girts is positive, optimistic, and he has a diplomatic approach in problem situations.
Should I comment?
Yes. First of all, can you guess who said that about you?
No. Not yet.
Not yet.
Is there a continuation?
Yes. Okay.
Then
I'll
let's
later
go further, yes.
Okay. So there's a tense atmosphere and silence in the meeting, and all of a sudden somebody says, Girts, maybe you have something to add. Mm. And when others will have nothing to say, Girts will come up with something.
No, I cannot say who said that. I remember the situations, and there have been many like those, but yes, apologies, whoever said that. I don't identify you clearly.
Okay. No guesses?
No, I will avoid.
Okay. As diplomatic as usual, Girts. Okay, so that was said by Signe Lornet.
Yes, by my good colleague. We established, let's say, a joint strategic stakeholders and communications team in the Rail Baltica joint venture this year. And then Signe, with her extensive banking experience, also joined the joint venture. Therefore, we are happy to have also Signe on the team. Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, it's good to hear such nice words from colleagues, but that brings me to a question. So what is that? What supports this, let's say, optimistic and positive outlook for you on daily basis?
Well, I think I have been lucky actually to be in several projects or activities that are quite complex, and there's, let's say, definitely some good vibe coming together or keeping me also in tonus. Yeah, and at the same time the multicultural, multi-interest environment that I have been for more than 15 years, I think it's you need to balance the importance. Yeah, and therefore I think perhaps the psychological experts can do their assessment, but that is a way how to keep positive and go let's say, continue working. Yeah, because of course the situations are different, and most of them that are landing on my table are quite complex.
Okay. I was going to ask that question a little bit later, but now when you touched with all the day-to-day situations you're approached, so what is that? What helps you to keep focus on what's important?
That is also quite a philosophical question, because in addition to the complexity and the numerous things that are on my table, they are indeed very, let's say, the the topics or my agenda or calendar is quite packed. Yeah, and then it's, let's say, from a pig farm in the context of the Rail Baltic project, a pig farm in the morning, followed by a meeting, I don't know, with some ministry or something like that. Yeah, therefore, what keeps me focused? I don't know. I think I'm truly a fan of the Rail Baltic project and seeing the long-term potential that this project can bring to the Baltic region, including Latvia. That I think is a stimulus itself. Yeah, that's sort of pushing myself towards delivering this fantastic project, and the priorities pop up themselves, I would say.
Okay. And what is that? What exactly inspires you in this mega project?
I'm quite sure that you would ask different my colleagues, and each of them would have their own aspect. For me, I truly see, in addition to sort of all these fantastic iconic buildings or infrastructure elements, be it a double bridge over Daugava, the Torņkalns tunnel on the Latvian example, or let's say the complexities or this fantastic human cooperation aspects between the three Baltic states and the EU partners. For me, it's truly, I see this project as a true game changer. Yeah, for the Baltic region, a true game changer, also in the standards, in the transparency, in how we do things, how we cooperate with also stakeholders in Baltics. And thus having the true potential to change the situation, or how also Latvia, as a place where my kids are growing up and I live also personally, how that develops. Mm-hmm. Therefore, it's truly professionally interesting, but also very personal.
Mm. Okay, so I hear that this is your way of creating an impact and also giving back to the society.
No, that would be an exaggeration, and my role is only one small part in this quite big project. But I truly believe that and I have been actually very lucky, as I said in the beginning, to work or to have the possibility to work with files or questions or issues or dimensions that are sort of that have the extra element. Yeah, that you can do the job as you do it. Yeah, and I do it from my heart. But the works and questions that are on my agenda have that extra potential, and therefore I'm truly happy to be in my place, and to be able to support going for this extra element. Something beyond the sort of I don't know what is even the standard to working day, yeah, from 9 to 5 or what is it, yeah. That of course is quite resource consuming, but if you see also the results, that's of course fantastic, yeah. In a project like Rail Baltic, you see the results in a little bit longer time, yeah, and therefore it's you need also patience. That I have to admit I'm not very strong, or not my characteristic element is.
Okay, so and getting to the stakeholders management part, if you had to explain, let's say, to a 5-year-old, what is that what you exactly do on daily basis?
It's like I'm coming home and my kids are asking sort of, no, did you build the train finally? I said that no, not today.
Not today.
What did you do? And then sort of you have to say that I was sitting in 10 meetings, sort of enjoyed. Then I'm always looking for some interesting element that the 5-year-old, for example, can understand. But it's actually ensuring that the project is about cooperation. Yeah, we can only succeed working together, both in Latvia, locally, with the municipalities, with the government institutions, also between the 3 Baltic states and even beyond at EU level. Yeah, and this is, let's say, therefore it is not a Latvian project, it's not even a Baltic project, at least in my view. It's truly a European added value project, provided that we cooperate and we achieve this joint results and fulfilling this extra mile. Yeah, and therefore it's hard to describe shortly, but it's about the cooperation. yeah, and making the right people to sit around the same table. And discussing on the important topics that we cannot solve, I don't know, the project itself, the municipality itself, the one of the suppliers or the state itself. Because several elements of, or let's say the success of the project lies in this cross-sectoral also cooperation. It's not only about the transport, because it's sort of the physical infrastructure is only one thing very important and the critical precondition, but it's actually about the economic corridor and all this what is happening after the Rail Baltica physical infrastructure is already built.
Okay, so basically what I heard from you is that you support people to communicate with each other.
No, we could shortly describe it like that. Yes, identifying the aspects that are important for different parties. Finding the right format where to discuss them, and then ensuring that the discussion takes place. And without illusion, there are sometimes very contradictory positions, be it on technical solutions or be it on financing or any other, but no, without discussion and with the sort of result-driven discussion, no, that is one of vital steps that I'm happy to contribute to. Yeah.
Okay. And my guess is that during your daily work, you, let's say, meet a lot of inspiring people yourself, a lot of leaders. So what exactly leadership means to you?
I have to say that I have been thinking or preparing for this podcast, my first one actually. I was thinking back on sort of trying to structure also my idea and also on the leadership on my experience with different management levels. And I concluded actually that I have been very lucky, yeah, to truly work with inspiring leaders, be it in my previous work in the Ministry of Transport or in even Latvian Railways, or also definitely in the Rail Baltic joint venture. Yeah, many of them that I think is important are women. Yeah, that is. I'm lucky, and my wife is always saying, sort of, you and all your women. Yeah, greetings. But truly, it's inspirational people, leaders, who can motivate, who can not only explain what is expected from you, but actually giving this wider picture. Yeah, and leading by example, and also being human. I think that is very important. Not that sort of you are always perfect, brushed up, and always sort of calm and tempered, but there is a human side, and you can sort of relate to that. And of course, in ideal case, that there's also, I have one fantastic experience, that the first CEO of the joint venture, Madame Rubes, who was fantastic. You could only learn from her, and I think the basis of the joint venture and the global project is largely thanks to her personality and the professionalism, and also the values that she brought to the project. Yeah.
Okay, so I hear that Baiba Rubes was inspiring you as a leader.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and could you mention maybe some other leaders, maybe internationally, that have inspired you, and why?
I think it's. I will not mention. Okay, I can mention. I watched a YouTube video with an interview or a speech by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, so the Terminator. I don't know where it popped up, but why it inspired, because it's sort of during at least my daily professional life, it's quite busy. Yeah, it's sort of you run, there's chick, the meetings, the topics and urgencies and the burning things are changing all the time. And sometimes it's important to actually sit down calmly, like we do today, and think a little bit what is happening, yeah, and also structure your mind, and also what you have experienced, what are the good things, what are the perhaps the things to be improved. Yeah, and in most cases they are actually not very sort of complex. They are very simple. You just need to have that moment and to be with yourself and to think, put your head together sort of and charge the batteries and in order to make it even better for the next time.
Okay, you mentioned a very personally interesting topic for me, and it's self-reflection, because for me as a coach I have a specific like self-reflection routines after each session, and I really see that as you mentioned they really help me to learn and do things better next time. So maybe you can share what is your process of self-reflection, how you do it, maybe some tips and tricks.
I don't know if they are valuable, but I can share my experience. It's always in most cases I'm wearing a suit, yeah, therefore at least at work, and therefore I'm truly happy to take it off and change to some I don't know, shorts or something absolutely not formal. And my energy charger is indeed nature, yeah, mushroom picking or seaside. Definitely also the cutting the grass, yeah, getting the snow that we had, yeah, that is sort of, you are with your thoughts. Perhaps sometimes it's too much, yeah, then you should take a break. You think too much or reflect yourself too much. But those are my moments, sort of being in some kind of activity, not sitting just sort of and then I reflect. So doing something, but in a different environment, and by large related to nature.
Okay, okay, that's interesting. Nature is a big thing for me as well. But still, as things are hectic and let's say in rush, what supports you to, let's say, to keep the motivation and the drive?
I already mentioned the very, very personal reason of creating a better world for my kids. Yeah, that indeed is not a joke. I take it very seriously, and I see several of my colleagues having the same motivation, in addition to sort of the job being interesting and sparkling, let's say. But it's really for the bigger picture, and then. I don't know. No, it's truly interesting. There are 50 shades of interesting elements of Rail Baltica, and some of the shades I have the fantastic opportunity to work with.
Okay, okay. So talking about interesting elements. So what maybe comes to your mind as, let's say, some mistake you have made and have learned from, or I don't know, maybe some funny event you can share to us that has happened?
I don't know.
That you are allowed to share, of course.
We have discussed with some colleagues that we should take notes on not only on the funny things and some things that we could have done differently, because there are so many things taking place. But let's say, returning to the stakeholder management in a project like Rail Baltic, I think I have taken some learnings that sort of, when you sometimes look at the whole thing, it's sort of it's quite no, where should I start? And then you have to recall that even the big things are made out of smaller steps or smaller things, that if you do it one by one, or at least not all of them at once, then it's already better. Secondly, I think it's also important to manage the expectations. I remember we have this initiative for cooperation with for example, Pārdaugava, in Latvia, in Riga, the left bank of Daugava NGOs, yeah, the communities around the railway, yeah, with whom we have signed also a memorandum of understanding, and we are meeting on regular basis to discuss, for example, how the crossings that will be rebuilt within Rail Baltic, how should they be? I don't know, cyclist lane separated, not separated, where the exits come out, etc. But that is a learning from those discussions, that you have to manage the expectations, because at one meeting, sort of, when you didn't give also clear, let's say, the frame on which aspects which are negotiable and which are not, we almost resulted sort of with a fantastic conclusion that let's make all railway, including the existing one, on estacades, yeah, throughout Riga. Yeah? That of course is something that is not possible or feasible, yeah, and therefore I think, yes, managing the expectations in various dimensions in each of the formats, and then also sometimes looking from the perspective or shoes of the other stakeholder. Yeah, I have been, or let's say, I have the information on behalf of the project. I know the history, many aspects, but let's say the person that perhaps is first time involved, yeah, he doesn't know the sort of 50 steps that were taken before, and sort of what were the results, etc. Yeah? Therefore, you have to even keep calm and work on, for example, the sort of educational aspect, explain why we are now here, yeah, or today at this point, yeah, and that this is not just sort of the first step, but it's already step 37. Yeah.
Okay. And I remember that as a part of our studies, we also did some study work together. It was related to HR subject, but also there were like many valuable subjects in Riga Business School. And I wonder if you could maybe share some examples how you, let's say, incorporated something you get from the school in your practical day-to-day life.
I will perhaps start why I chose RBS,
Yeah, sure.
and why I chose to actually continue the studies, because I finished the studies of international bachelor in the Riga Stradiņš University, and then I moved to work in Brussels on behalf of the Latvian Transport Ministry, and then sort of I joined I returned Latvian Railways, RB Rail, and then I was sitting one late evening, and I'm thinking that sort of I can be sitting here and still will not solve all the works of that are on my table today, and I can take the let's say, do something also for myself, yeah, but that can contribute also to my work professionally. Yeah, and therefore actually RBS was a very easy choice. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't have the other alternatives. I like that the English, the studies are in English, and I think in addition to sort of some bits and pieces that definitely have landed somewhere in my brain, hopefully, I think the greatest benefit is indeed the team and the people that I met, including you. Yeah, although we don't meet on regular basis, but I think that the network is there, and also it's cool to be in the same gang, I would say.
Yes, this is actually one of the things I liked about the RBS the best, because as we met, so different as we are, so from so different, let's say, organizations and fields, but still we got the common language and solved common things during those subjects, and that was like really exciting and interesting from my perspective. And let's say, as you touched also the Riga Business School, what was your favorite subject?
I think, and I don't remember, did somebody trick me?
No, don't do this diplomatic thing now.
But the first subject that I took was statistics. And I'm recalling that I was sort of international relations guy. The statistics was fantastic. It's sort of you were sitting and sort of enjoying the sort of sometimes it was sort of what nightmare, yeah. But the professor, Mr. Zedons, was not Zedons, no. Apologies. Yes, Kolishkins, Andres. He was so fantastic and passionate, and I shared also his concern or this rhetoric question: how can you teach statistics in 21st century? Yeah, but I think. And with all love to all the other professors, but I think he was my first, and definitely it was so out of space for at least my previous experience that he remains in my heart. Yes.
Okay. And what would you say to somebody who would consider of learning in RBS?
Well, I think there are two things. First, hopefully COVID fades away, or we have the fourth, fifth vaccine, sixth, whatever is needed. So let's go and do that. And secondly, why? Yeah, because you can be inside the university. You can meet the people, as you said, so different. Even let's say I love my usual suspects in my professional network, but this was such a fantastic change. We had IT people from banking sector, from marketing, we had even some doctors, right? And it was so let's say horizon opening, yeah, or how to say it's just fantastic, yeah.
Okay, so let's see if we have some questions. I think that I don't currently see any questions, but I remember that our common colleague Katrīna wrote a question. So when would that train start rolling to the Berlin?
That's of course a question of $1 billion or euros in the case of Rail Baltic, but to keep important. It's 870 kilometers. Yeah, it's you cannot complete in the three Baltic states. Yeah, you cannot complete it at once. Yeah, we are in extensive, large-scale design phase now. Yeah, with 640 kilometers already under design, and the first construction works have started in all three countries. Now we are proceeding to launch also in Latvia. We just launched a sort of a mega construction procurement, even at EU level. Or let's say, for the mainline construction, in order to firstly complete the designs and be ready for large-scale construction in the full 870 kilometers by end of 2024, and then gradually also completing the construction works in the period from 2026 to 2030. Yeah, and 2030 being the sort of top-end year that is linked with the completion of all the EU transport corridors, including the North Sea Baltic. That is where Rail Baltic is a part of that. Yeah, so there's no black and white answer to that. The teams across the three countries, and there are several, are working intensively. There's nobody is delaying anything specifically, but of course there are things that take time. There are things or even knowledge and education and experience that we are missing in the Baltics. Yeah, therefore we also highly cooperate and actively cooperate with international colleagues. Yeah? Also in the joint venture we have at least, I'm quite sure, approximately 10 nationalities working. And therefore it is indeed a big project, and the target is to complete the whole 870 kilometers by 2030. Yeah, and that will allow also Katrin and her kids to go to Berlin or no, there's of course an old joke sort of, will we get the first ticket and etc. But we are working towards delivering the project.
Okay, and so what would be your main priorities next year, looking from the stakeholder management perspective?
I had a fantastic team dinner respecting all the COVID rules yesterday evening, And then we were also discussing the personal goals and KPIs, and there were various, and some were funny, some were sort of important. Somebody is getting married, so planning to, and Mai was playing guitar. Somebody laughed that you will not have time. But professionally, I think we have so far, let's say, the project implementation teams are growing significantly, taking into account that also the scope of work grows significantly. For example, the headcount of the joint venture RB Rail has grown since last year by 47%. Yeah, it's definitely, there's a huge work for the HR, not only hiring but also calibrating the systems, but also the sort of the culture of the company, etc. From the stakeholder perspective, it's time finally to put the stakeholder management across the project on the same, let's say, within the same system. Yeah, and that I think is a challenging task. Yeah, there are various discussions, sort of. Who are stakeholders actually? Yeah, are they only those that are directly impacted, or are they also those that I mentioned, this extra mile that I strongly believe in, our responsibility to deal in a positive way and engage with the stakeholders that the project is also impacting. Yeah, not only impacted by, yeah, but therefore, I think this will be the target. If we achieve that, in addition across the whole project, that will be fantastic. Yeah, because as I said, there are so many aspects: that the technical, the financial, the reporting, the legal, the procurement. Yeah, no, it's quite vibrant, as I said. Yeah, we'll do our best also on behalf of the joint venture as in this global lead of the global project implementation, and also as a coordinator to take also lead on this matter.
Okay, I hear that you have quite a lot of challenges and also so rapidly growing organization and multinational organization, and like really a lot of challenges going on. And what would you say would be let's say the biggest challenge, especially for the rapid growth
of the company?
Yes.
It's definitely a question to HR, but I think to adapt the processes. Yeah, because I started in 2016 October, and I was number approximately 9. Yeah, employee number 9. Now we are close to 200. Yeah, the approach that we did for decision making, that worked and was easy, of course, when you are just 9 or 10 or but it doesn't work when we cannot sit all around one table or fireplace. That wasn't the case, but sort of the idea that we sit around at the same table and we commonly take the decisions. Of course, there is a need to adapt the procedures. Yeah, and there's an art in that. There's definitely further improvement, also opportunities and possibilities, and also a need. Yeah, to ensure. And the second one, in addition to let's say the structures, the procedures, knowing who's who, it's also, as I said, calibrating the culture. Yeah, the culture of the company, and also understanding actually the Rail Baltic project. Yeah, as I said, there are so many nationalities. Yeah, it's not only bolts or there are also, for example, several Latvians who have worked abroad and now are returning. And we are lucky for those, but we have also Brazilians, Italians, French, UK nationalities. It's I would say it's also HR-wise a complexity that is worth writing a book afterwards. We complete this project, because of course it's yeah, and here in the Baltics, yeah, I think it's a fantastic challenge, but also a fantastic opportunity. Yeah, I see that we are slowly moving towards the joint implementation and improvements, but of course it takes time also to learn to cooperate even across the borders.
Okay. And as the actual result, the actual train, is still so far away, and you also mentioned that you like to see the results like fast. So what is that what gives you the most fulfillment during your daily work?
It's still sort of the small things to deal with, but also the small wins. I think that's indeed you have to define some small wins, and for example, I'm truly happy that we have just started. Or we have received all the permits to start the exploration works in Sakula area in Latvia. The route is going across it, and it's an ex-military base where the unexploded ordnances are. It's fully polluted area. We have of course chosen the best place where to cross it, right over it, but and the works have just started. And we knew that the need to cross it already last year. We took several steps with procurement, discussions with the ministries, finding the right consultant, doing all the preparations, and now they have finally officially started. So such things, I understand. I think I'm quite sure at home everyone would sort of smile about me, but such things, if they are visible, it's even more fantastic. But things that finally come true, so that would be short answer, relatively.
These are the small milestones that will eventually make the train to roll.
No, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And as we soon have to conclude, if you look at your next year personally, so what would be your focus on a personal level?
I already said one thing is guitar. Father Christmas brought me for the previous Christmas, and I promised to learn myself or learn to play a Christmas song by this Christmas, and I have failed. And this is something that I will have to do next year. But I think without illusion and too much lightness, of course, I need to find and work on the home or work-home balance. Well, as fantastic the project is, it's also quite resource requiring, and therefore that is a personal. If I'm speaking about personal aims, is to spend more time also with the family.
Okay. So I guess that there is a time for us to finish our today's conversation. Is there something else you're willing to tell our viewers, our listeners?
I think I returned. Firstly, of course, support Rail Baltic. Follow up, on the project webpage, railbaltic.org. We are tuning it. We had fantastic events, Industry Day, even hackathon during the last week, and there's new date on that. So if you are interested, have a look at that. And secondly, I think RBS indeed is a fantastic choice. It was professionally interesting, educationally wise, but also the possibility to meet so diverse but interesting and no, I would say grown-up people or sort of. No, it was we came from different perspectives. It was truly these group works that was truly fun. And I think that was definitely the studies were worth it. Therefore, I can only invite you to join the Riga Business School.
Okay, thanks, Girts. It was really nice to meet you again and to get to know you better, not only professionally but also personally. And thanks to our listeners and viewers. And I invite you to the next episode on the 6th of January. The moderator will be Riga Business School faculty member and also executive MBA alumnus Greg Matters, and the guest will be Uldis Tatarčuks, the CEO of TET. See you next year.
Thank you for inviting, and Merry Christmas.